You know it's getting serious when something is this massive. As you see from the title, today we're going to be trying ceramics/pottery for the first time ever, from start to finish. For those of you who don't know ceramics and pottery, it's basically the majority of the plates that we're eating off of, different kinds of mugs, even vases and types of decor. However, look at me, look at me. There's a huge trend coming up nowadays where ceramics is meeting cuteness. And that is when I'm like, I need my hand in that. I need to try it. Because there's this whole trend of dopamine decor. And with dopamine decor, I feel like I can definitely relate to this kind of art. Because I do like things that are a little odd and fun, and sometimes even incorporating a little bit of that monstrous darkness in my soul. But cute pastel colors. Oh, there goes my light. That's what fell earlier. Now, as someone who has ADHD, I love trying new things. Whether it's new hobbies that I'm going to collect $100 worth of supplies and maybe never use again. I just like to dabble in things, such as trying real tattooing for the first time, all the way to trying rainbow loom for the first time, and even lock picking and surgery for the first time. So if you want to check out those videos, I will link them in the description box. So what does it take in order to do ceramic sculptures? Step 1. You can either sculpt or what is known as throwing by using the wheel. Step 2. You're going to let your piece sit and dry for a few days. In my case, I'm letting it dry for about 10 days for the size I'm sculpting. Step 3, bake it at close to 2000 degrees Fahrenheit for 12 hours, and then letting it cool for another 12 hours. Step 4, underglaze, which is also known as decorative painting, and let it dry for about 2 days. Step 5, bake it for another 8 hours at another 2200 degrees Fahrenheit. And in the process, you hope to the gods of Evermore that your piece does not break through any of the steps. And so today we're going to be using earth clay to make some really cute pieces of decor. It's so heavy. And in order to help me out, I'm going to be using 2 mystery boxes of characters that should, in theory, be cute, and I'm going to make them in my own style. The first bag we have here is the Mariah Elizabeth cute figurine characters. And then we have a plushie by Aphmau. We don't know what we're going to be getting, so this is going to be a surprise to both you and I. And for those of you who don't know Mariah Elizabeth, she is a huge creator here who does lots of artsy craftsy things. Everything from squishy makeover all the way to painting on things and baking. Just to be clear, I am not new to sculpting. I do like creating my own monster characters, so if you do want to watch those, of course, feel free to check those videos out. But I have not used earth clay from start to finish in order to make a really cool project. So I am so nervous because there are risks of explosions within the kiln. So let's hope we don't get there. And so the first mystery character that we're going to play with is the Mariah Elizabeth mystery figure. And this is what the baggie looks like. And these are the characters we can get. I'm putting this aside because I have opinions. There's a character I do not want to get. So I am hoping we are not getting that one. And it is Derp. The only reason I don't want this character is because I have no idea how to make floating objects in ceramics. I don't even know how to do anything yet properly in ceramics. But here are the different characters we can get. We have Darla, Pickled Pink, I'm okay with. Willow, I'm okay with. Georgie, yes. Pickle, yes. Nikki Christopher, okay. And Liz, which again, I'm okay with. This is the only legit character I do not want. I'm not ready for it. I'm just not ready. So let's go ahead and see who we're getting today. And of course, I'm curious to know which character would you have wanted from this set. This bag makes so much noise. It's like when you're trying to eat a bag of chips in the movies. It's not quiet. Oh, side note, you know things are serious when you've saran wrapped everything. Because I know my hands are gonna get dirty, so I have to saran wrap all my equipment. And let's see who our first custom sculpture is going to be based off of. And it is, please not Derp, please not Derp, please not Derp, and it is Pickle! Hey! This is the perfect canvas to work with. Something fell out. Aha! So it looks like we have the character sheet. Oh my goodness, that is wonderful. We actually get the character sheet and we have a character bio. It's called It's the same pickle dinosaur we know and love, but with a rainbow bow tie. Okay, so here is the figurine that we got. The simple figure of this is going to make it so that we do have some options to make it a little bit more nerdy crafter-fied, but we do have to keep in mind that we do need a bow though. We need a bow though. Okay, but otherwise, I think this design is going to be perfect for a first time ceramic sculpture from start to finish. The colors are pretty straightforward. We do have some markings here, which again, we're not going to do the exact thing, but we're gonna have fun with this. So let's get started. All right, since I need to see everything I'm doing, I'm going to be putting my glasses on for today so I look quite intellectual. And we do have our clay. Now, for this kind, we are using something called a stoneware clay. I'm gonna make a circle. Let's try a circle. And it's supposed to be pretty durable. Now, the good thing about this clay is that it's way cheaper than polymer clay. Okay, the first thing I'm working on is basically Pickle's bottom half. And the thing about this clay is that it does have a percentage of shrinkage, which is about 12 to 13% for this one, I think. Not sure. We'll find out together. I think this does look pretty nice.
Nice.
But if anything, we do know that Pickle has a bit of a belly. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna push this top part a little in to create that indent for that belly. Oh yeah, that's a nice belly. Oh, Pickle, you got a nice belly there. I love it. The other thing to really remember is that this is going to take forever to dry up. So once it hardens just a little bit, we're gonna scoop this out. So don't worry about it. It ain't going to be a solid piece. We're going to scoop it. And now for Pickle's head, we do have a circle for the head and then an extra bit that's coming out for his nozzle. So for that, I'm going to basically do a one piece where I'm going to make a circle and then stretch out the front part until I get something that looks similar to Pickle's snout, dinosaur snouty area. Now that we have the head and the body, we need to put them together. We can't just have a floating pickle head and a floating pickle body. Why can't I say that? So we gotta bring these two together in order to make a full character. However, this kind of clay requires something a little extra in order to get our pieces stuck together. What we have to do is called scoring. So we have to take something called a scoring tool and make scratch marks. Now, I am a beginner. I sound like I know what I'm doing, but I have no idea if I'm actually doing it right. You know when you read a textbook about surgery and then time comes to do surgery? It's not the same thing. So we make our little scratches here, and I know the head is gonna have to go here, so I'm gonna do my scritches under here. So you kind of have to do the scritches on both sides, just to kind of create that suction, is what I'm told. Not from experience. And now we're gonna take some wet clay and shove it like a so, and then more wet clay and put it like a so. Now we're creating a vacuum seal. So now we can just kind of like put it like a so. Looks good. Just gotta make sure the head is not too crooked. I think it looks good. And now I'm going to take a thin coil of clay, roll it out, put again more of that wet clay around, put it under the neck, and then smooth those two pieces together in hopes that they stay together. You don't want no heads rolling up. And ta-da! Here it is. I bulked the neck a little bit just so that it has a little bit more to stand on, exactly like this pickle. The neck is not caved in the back. It's kind of like bulging. So we're doing good so far. Now we're going to add
element of chaos
with
the wheel of chaos.
Welcome to the Wheel of Chaos, where we're going to be spinning this wheel to see what extra elements we're going to add to our own version of Pickle. Always, we're going to be monsterifying everything a little bit more to make it a little bit more unique to us. And this wheel is far from complete, so let me know in the comments what items do you want to see in here that we can add to make this creature more unique. Well, not this creature, but like future creatures, okay? I need your help. Let me know in the comments what you'd like me to add. For now though, we have extra limbs, super teeth, so I do want to add teeth, but this one is going to make us add a lot more teeth, an extra eye, and then they basically repeat, except some of you may have noticed that we do have a super peach. And I'm not talking the fruit. I'm talking about something else juicy and round. If you know, you know. And let's see what Pickle's going to be getting. And it, oh, extra limbs. That was so close to the peach. That was so close, but we are adding extra limbs. So I think we're gonna be adding maybe 2 more arms, or maybe another tail. We'll see where this is gonna go. Now there are little bits of cracks over here. So I do have a sponge where I'm just going to gently go over it just so that pieces are not too cracked or too many gaps in between. Really, there's no water in here. I squeezed the frog out of it. It's just a little damp. And I'm just gonna go all the way around to even our texture. Voila. This is basically the same thing. For those of you using polymer clay and where we're using rubbing alcohol and a Q-tip, it's basically the same idea. Oh, my head is crooked. It's kind of like, but you know what? It's okay. That's a cute pose, isn't it? Can I fix that? A little bit. I think he's gonna stay leaning. That's okay. That's okay. It's a cute pose. It's a cute pose. I could fix it, but I kind of like it now. It makes him look very inquisitive, like what you saying and what you saying and who you saying it about. Now for the next parts, they're pretty straightforward. I decided to go ahead and do the legs, and that's just like any kind of leg sculpting, whether it's Play-Doh or polymer clay or air dry clay, the process is pretty similar. Except you do have to remember to do the scoring. And we have the 2 little feet, but what is a creature of darkness feet without claws? And even though the pickle that we have from Mariah doesn't have any claws on this one, we're going to add little spiky bits just so they look like claws. We're not gonna embellish them. We're not gonna make it an epic creature of darkness. We're gonna make it a cute creature of darkness. And now that our feet are done, of course, we're always going to be smoothing. We're always going to be using our little thing to make it even. I'm basically repeating the exact same process for the hands. Now, the hands already have their own little claws, as you can see here, and they are a darker green. So we're just basically going to keep those. We're just going to make them a tiny bit little sharper. Okay, so far looking good. I think we're going to just move it onto this turntable here just to work more easy access towards the back. So we're gonna lift up, hopefully nothing falls. Okay, looks good. So, oh, do not drop, do not drop, do not drop.
Don't you dare drop it.
All right, now we should be able to have easier access towards the behind. Because for the extra limb, I decided we're going to do 2 tails, but not just 2 tails. We're going to make diverging tails, which means the spikes on Pickle's back are going to start at the head and make their way out. So this is going to be an extra bit of design. So in order to do that, we actually have to put the tails first. And the process is exactly the same as we've done for the other limbs, which is the legs and the arms. It's pretty straightforward. A little snake of clay, we turn into a little carrot, and then we're gonna score it and we're gonna shove them. We're gonna shove them both. We're gonna try and keep them a little bit closer to center just so they don't look too way off. All right, so I am really afraid of saying what I'm just about to say, but I'm gonna say it anyways because once you see, sometimes you can't unsee. We know, you and I, that these are 2 tails. However, to some untrained eye, it might look like some pointy peaches. It might look like some pointy buttocks. Like the bum bum is extra. But that is not what we are going for. These are 2 tails, okay? These are not extra protruding bum bums, just to be clear. Now I do still want this to be kind of my own creature mixed with Mariah's creature. So one of the things I do love in characters are underbites. Just that jaw. I'm a huge fan of that. So in order to do that, it's actually way simpler than it looks. What we're going to do is take a piece of clay, thin it out, flatten it just slightly, and then basically smooth it right under the jaw. That's going to make it look like we actually added an entire lower part of the mouth. I am absolutely in love with this. Part of me really wants to give Pickle some really different kinds of eyes, but no, Pickle, ever since the original story, as you can see here, has always had
Soulless, beady black eyes.
So we're going to hold off on that and only keep
The soulless, beady black eyes.
And now, similarly to what we did with the little claws and the feet and the hands, we're going to go ahead and put the spikes on the top of the head and make it all the way to the tails. I know the original Pickle, where is it? There it is. Does not have the spikies on the tail, but you know what? We're monsterfying this, so we're gonna add a little extra here and make those spikes go and diverge onto the actual tails. And no, don't worry, we did not forget the bow though. Okay, the bow, clearly we need to put it there. It is really tiny because I feel like the space I have is actually pretty tight, but we managed to get it in there. And of course, the nostrils. Now, I don't know how deep nostrils have to get in order for it to look good in ceramics. I don't even know what I'm doing at this point, but let's just hope that what we're doing is the right thing. And here is our monstrified Pickle. I think I'm gonna go ahead and name him Gherkin. Now what we have to do is I'm going to wait a couple of hours and then I'm going to take one of my tools and scoop out as much of the bottom as I can and then close it up again.
6.5 hours later.
I am really nervous right now because this is probably where it's at its most fragile and I know I need to scoop it out and I don't want to break any claws. I am so scared right now.
Please, 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 do not break. And oh gosh. Oh, maybe I let it sit too long. Ah, no, not the belly. I need to focus. I need to stop looking at y'all. I'm doing my scoopies and I'm going as slow and ginger as possible. So I went ahead and started by the bottom and I tried to go as far as I could, but I didn't want to go all the way through because I feel like otherwise the head wouldn't have something strong to stand on. But now we're performing brain surgery. I don't know if Pickle has enough brain cells to lose, but at this point, we don't have that luxury to find out. We just gotta do it. And so as you could see, just from one side, I was able to pull out this much clay, which should help the speeding process of drying. The drying process of the speeding process of drying. And once I'm pretty happy with where I'm at, I'm basically just taking a piece of clay, rolling it out, and then smoothing it all the way around so that it doesn't stay open. That way we really can hopefully get it to dry within the 10 days. So now we gotta wait 10 days.
2 weeks later.
And ta-da! I know it doesn't look like much, but honestly, it's not the same color as the other one. I'm gonna go ahead and measure it just so you have an idea of what the size is, because I'm pretty sure there's a significant amount of shrinking that's supposed to happen. I am so scared right now. So here's the height of it right now. We'll see how much it shrinks. So now we're going to go ahead and put this in the kiln for approximately 12 hours. Now you're seeing me load the kiln here. I'm not doing this with one hand and shoving it in the kiln because I feel like this needs my absolute attention to balance things out, and that's basically what the kiln looks like on the inside. And now for one final plea to the kiln gods of Evermore. Put your hands together and pray to the kiln gods of Evermore. Dear kiln gods of Evermore, please protect my piece from cracks, explosions, and fallen limbs. But also,
Don't break my stuff!
2 days later.
and I've waited 2 days for this to dry, even though technically I didn't need to, in theory. And here is my setup on my desk. I do have some of the Mayco Fundamentals underglaze. I only picked these because they seem to be the most vibrant where I bought these from. I'm hoping that is the case. Even though I would have bought one of every color, I restrained myself and only bought 15 colors. I got 15. And Gherkin is looking absolutely fantastic. You know what? I didn't know that these textures would stay, but it works out pretty good because this is a pickle, and pickles are usually with a little bit of bumpiness in things, as Kitty Editor is demonstrating on screen right now. So the texture is going to work in our favor. Now, technically, there's different ways we can actually color clay, and they're called underglazes instead of paints, but I also have chalk. And these do look absolutely vibrant and super cute, and they give a really cool effect, kind of like whimsical, childlike drawings. And I'm definitely going to use them in a future video. Today, we're gonna try the basics here, okay? We're gonna focus on lime green for the body. And since I didn't make any test tiles, and you should make test tiles, do it. Don't be a Jackie. So the only thing I'm going off of is basically this over here, which is the lime green. Now I know Pickle is a pastel green, but Gherkin is going to be darker in all the colors, just a little bit. Now correct me if I'm wrong, but I think I need very special brushes to make this happen. So I bought underglaze brushes. They feel super soft. Maybe I overdid it. Maybe I just need a normal brush, but we're gonna use this and we gonna shake it. All right, you are experiencing underglaze with me for the first time. Oh, okay. That's actually really pretty. I don't know if there's sediment at the bottom, so I'm just gonna take a popsicle. Oh, that is creamy. Oh, she looking good. Oh my goodness. So let me explain what underglaze is. When you're doing any kind of ceramics or pottery, you actually need to color it. And the two ways to color your ceramics or pottery is to use glazes. Now, underglaze is basically what you can use to add details, paintings, and just add the thing that makes your piece super unique. And then there are overglazes. Now, overglazes are used as basically what it's called, a glaze. It's giving that shiny look, and there are different kinds of shiny look. You have the clear one that basically just masks or seals in your underglaze design. Or then you have overglazes that have their own unique looks. Some of them look like lava, others look like scales, and some of them just look like an explosion of colors, like Tutti Frutti or Kaleidoscope. So needless to say, if you want to decorate, usually use underglazes. If you want to seal the deal with a glass finish, more or less, sometimes you're gonna use an overglaze. There's a little bit more detail that I'm missing here, but you get the gist of it. I'm still learning. All right, so I put a little bit of the underglaze in my paint palette. I don't know how far it goes, but we're technically supposed to do 3 coats. So I'm gonna just go ahead and do it. Ooh, that is nice. That is actually pretty nice. Okay, that is going on pretty easy. It really does feel like painting, and if we need more coats, we just have to let the first one dry. So I'm going ahead and just doing the entire base of the body in that green, letting it dry, and then going ahead and putting that 3rd coat. Well, 2nd and 3rd coat. I am officially, look at that, we have a stamp. It's official. I love underglazing. The biggest difference is that the sculpture is absorbing the actual paint, the glaze, and it's making it so that it's only taking me 5 minutes between each coat, as opposed to acrylic paints where sometimes you have to wait 20 to 30 minutes between each coat. Now, I have come down to one of my first painting problems, is that I don't have that dark green, this one. So I'm going to have to attempt mixing the colors. Now, here's the thing about underglaze, is that sometimes, because these are chemical reactions, it's possible that these colors don't actually mix. Or if they mix, it's not the color you're going to see. So I'm going to take this dark blue, which is the UG097. This is what it looks like here on the screen. And my lime green, here's again, both of them on the screen. And I'm going to mix these together in hopes to get a darker green. So I'm going to treat this like paint, but we don't know what the results are going to look like until after we bake it. All right, now I'm starting to get worried because we did mix our blue and green and it's starting to look gray. Not sure how that happened, but like I said, sometimes you don't even know what you're getting. But I'm going to go ahead and paint the spikes on the head, and we're also going to do the cloche on the feet, and we're basically doing all the spiky bits, except for the teeth. That's gonna be white. This is looking absolutely phenomenal so far. That dark green is really coming through. It looked a little gray, but it's looking fantastic. Then I took that same green and went ahead and outlined just a little bit of the inside of the mouth to add a little bit more dimension to it. And I'm just doing the details like black for the eyes, white for the teeth. And then we're going to do that little bow. Now, this bow looks pink, yellow, and then there's a medley of kind of green in the middle, and we have blue and purple. That's basically all I'm doing. I'm taking the colors exactly as they are and hoping that they look okay. And then for the tiny markings that make pickle, I took the exact same colors, well, as much as I could, and made the markings where they should go, which is basically on the spikes and the little cutie mark near the butts. Once that was done, I decided that I wanted to sign my piece of work, so I took a black underglaze and just put NCJ for Nerdy Crafter Jackie. Now that it has fully dried, we're going to be adding a glaze. Basically where it can get a little dangerous because this is basically kind of like melted glass, I think, kind of. Don't quote me. And that's going to take our piece from looking dull to looking absolutely shiny and also waterproof. It's like whipped cream. I think I should be wearing this. Maybe this is too small for my sausage hands. Ow! Ugh. Get yourself a better stirring stick than a popsicle stick because my hands are so cramped. By the way, I realize I'm going into this completely unguided because there's not a single video out there that I can find about how to use this thing or how to apply it. So I'm just doing my best here. Gherkin, help me. Gherkin! And the first coat is done. I have to say, this looks like just white at this point. I have to trust the process. Trust the process. Just looks like you got a milk bath. Just take the whole thing and dip it in milk. So we're gonna apply 2 to 3 coats as per the instructions say, and it's going to change our color quite a bit, but we have to trust the process. And so here it is, just about ready. I'm going to let it sit for a day in order to dry up completely. It is definitely all the way looking like we did absolutely nothing this entire time. I feel like Pickle is judging me. Pickle, I need you to turn around because this does not concern you at this time. I am still learning. And then back into the kiln it goes. By the way, I need your help naming my kiln. Let me know in the comments. Most potters have a name for their kiln and it's always a she. So help me find a she name or a neutral name. You know what? Either or. And it's gotta be something that makes us know that it's our kiln, okay? Not just a name like Samantha. No, I need a name that represents us, okay? I'm gonna be reading those comments. So let's put our hands together and pray to the kiln gods. Dear kiln gods of Evermore, now that we're baking in higher fire, please protect my piece from cracks, explosions, and fallen limbs. But also,
Don't ruin my colors!
oh my gosh. Oh. Ah! Oh my goodness! Just look at him, love him, and look how adorable he is. Let's listen. Well, he's a little, there you go. You can hear that this is a ceramic piece. This is insane. I just made a statue from scratch, from start to finish. I love him so much. Gherkin is the cutest thing ever. And here are the characters side by side. Now let's definitely take a chance to look at the rotation. I feel like Pickle can be sweet and adorable, and as we've seen from Mariah Elizabeth's lore, is that Pickle is a character who participates in so many different activities, got so many different awards, but Gherkin is there to protect. And he does enjoy walks in nature, but not just to relax, but mostly to look for dinosaur fossils, because he likes to find out more about his ancestors, right, Gherkin?
Yeah.
And I love the colors of the little bow tie. I feel like I could have added a little bit more color to make them pop a little bit more. But I'm gonna be very honest, my kiln actually went too hot for some reason. So I think the colors came out a little bit more muted, and that might include the colors on the spikes and the one near the tail. But otherwise, I'm really happy with this piece. This is legit my first ever ceramic piece from A to Z where I took charge of everything, and I am absolutely in love. I'm not sure if I'm going to keep it or send it to Mariah. I'm probably gonna send it to Mariah because this is her character. And now we have the Aphmau Mystery Box Meows. Meows, not Memas. Can you imagine? Oh yes, in my days, I am called Mima. I am your Mima. I am your granny. Meows. Aphmau is a really popular creator here on YouTube who does mostly Minecraft type content. Now for this mystery bag, I am super excited because there are so many options. Well, so many. We have 6 possibilities. I'm going to let you know which one's going to be a nightmare for me, and I hope that's not the one we're pulling, and the one I really want. So we can get everything from a chocolate drizzle with a cherry on top. Looks super cute. I'm very okay with that one. And then there's the 3 colored one with red, yellow, and blue with the cherry on top as well. That one, 100% super excited about. I really love the eyes of these characters, so yes, please. And then we have 2 characters that are very similar. We have kind of like a pistachio looking one, and then a chocolate one with chocolate drizzle and a marshmallow, I think, on top. Those 2 are very similar. They're okay. I'm not too crazy about them in terms of trying to recreate them somehow, but if we get them, sure, they're going to be pretty easy. And then the sprinkle one is just super cute. I love the shape of the eyes and how pink it is with the yellow on the inside of the ears. Again, these designs are super cute, absolutely adorable. And then the one I really do not want, I don't want this at all because it's going to be an absolute nightmare, is the one with the swirly colors. I don't want this one because I don't think my technique is good enough for this. So I'm really hoping we don't get it. Let's see what we get. Please. These are pretty sizable too, so I'm excited about these as collectibles. I love putting plushies on my bag, so all right, let's back up here because I'm a little nervous. Please, please. Oh, that's soft. In 3, 2, 1. Oh, that's the one I really wanted. It has sparkles. Oh, I don't know how to do sparkles, but we're gonna figure out how to do sparkles. We're gonna figure out how to make this a really pretty glittery type, something opalescent maybe. Let's take a closer look. We can see that there's little tinsels here that make it look shiny. The eye is so cute with little stars. I'm not going to make the ceramic piece furry, but we are going to attempt to make something of this color. We have the little cherry, and I want it to stand on its own. So the decor itself, we're gonna go for vibrancy here. So let's go ahead and sculpt it. This really shouldn't be a difficult sculpt. The magic is going to be in the actual glazing. So here is our piece. Now, this is going to be one chunky piece, and I do want it to stand. So I did put it aggressively on the plank of wood here so that we can start shaping it. Now, I feel like it's kind of shaped like an onigiri, a rice ball. Correct me if I'm wrong, but that's basically what it looks like. And I'm just going to shape it as much as I can like this, because you know what? It's not just going to be a piece of decoration. I'm going to turn it into a vase. So you can put a singular plant, not a real plant, a fake one. So the trick here is trying to get it as symmetrical as possible. It's looking like a rock right now. We need it to have cute little cheeks like this. Maybe I flattened the bottom a little too much. So we're gonna go in this way. And don't worry, we're gonna scoop the bottom to make it as hollow as possible. I feel like this part shouldn't have been as flat. Now I'm having regrets.
Okay, I think I'm pretty satisfied with this shape. I kind of want to scoop it out already. I don't know if I'm going to regret this, but we're gonna go ahead and take this tool and scoop out as much as I can until it's as hollow as we can get it to be. It's not going to be perfect because we are not throwing this. I ain't no expert. This is me trying everything from A to Z all the way through. And for those of you who are better educated than me, just educate me instead of yelling at me in the comments, okay? I'm a very sensitive little creature. I know I have a lot to learn, so just teach me because I'm very teachable. Okay, so we have hollowed it out, which I will hide the bottom. I'm definitely gonna wrap it all up. I'm gonna put a little piece, but you can see it's hollow and it's still keeping its shape, so that's a good thing. And for the ears, I'm just going to pinch 2 pieces of clay, like so, and make 2 cute little ears. Of course, the inside is a little bit more indented, so what I could do is I could just take my finger and create this light little indent so that when we do paint it, we know exactly where we're going. Look at that, like a little strawberry. And let's not forget, in order for pieces to stick together, we need to do scoring. So I think the ears are gonna go a little higher, probably over here. I feel like I'm going to ruin this one. I don't know why, the simplest ones are usually the hardest. So I'm gonna go ahead and scratch right here, like so. And then scratch this one. And we're gonna add this wet pasty clay and we're gonna smush it. Voila. And now we're just basically doing the exact same thing on the other side. I am spending time smoothing things. It's a lot of smoothing going on behind the scenes. All right, so now that the ears are in, we're gonna smooth everything out later, but we're gonna take a popsicle stick. It's not a method, it is just my method. And we're gonna go ahead and poke a hole where I would want the stem to go for the flower. I kind of want the fake plant to be slightly towards the back because I still want to put the cherry on top towards the front. So we're gonna make a hole right here. Am I doing it? Yes, there you go. It's feeling almost like a piggy bank. You can actually make a piggy bank. We're not doing that. We're not doing that. We're doing a vase. And I'm just gonna kind of make the hole just enough for one stem. That's all I'm doing. I am not going extra. Here's what it looks like. Here's what the bottom looks like. And I'm just gonna take my finger and smooth it. That is not smoothing. Can smooth it out a bit. That is not smooth, but we're gonna make the hole slightly bigger. This is not a method. Do not learn from me. Actually, learn how to not do things from me. That's all I'm saying. So here's our hole. Again, everything's gonna get smoothened. We're gonna smoothen everything. So a little bit water. And this is looking pretty amateur, but it's looking. Now, I don't know how a stem is going to react in a kiln, so I feel like the cherry on top is going to have to be stemless. I don't own any high-grade metal. For those of you who know what I'm talking about, it's supposed to be metal that won't melt in the kiln. So if you know where to get a good, nice, thick one, let me know in the comments. And we're gonna score here too. Put our sludge here and here. And smush, like so. And because I don't know how else to do a cherry, we're just gonna do the little indent over here. The little cherry butt crack kind of thing. I don't know if that's going to show after glazing, so we're gonna pretend it will. And the little dot like this. I'm gonna hope that this looks like a cherry. We're just gonna color it red. Ta-da! Looks super cute. Now the only thing left to do, so I'm gonna put it over here. I'm gonna shove it over there. And now we're gonna close that bottom. I'm new. I'm not aesthetically incapable. I'm just gonna take a piece of clay, roll it out flat, like so. Just big enough. Very nice. One of the things I have learned when it comes to working with earth clay is that you do not work on plastic surfaces, you do not work on your desk. You actually have to work on pieces of wood, otherwise it sticks to everything. So this seems to be the right size. Voila. And I'm just gonna cut all the way around. We're gonna remove it. And as always, we're going to go ahead, scratch, score, put our goopy thing, and then put them together and smooth it out. And ta-da! So here it is, all sealed. Here's what it looks like all the way up and down. We're going to go ahead and again, let it sit for about 10 days. Maybe you can let it sit for less time, but I'd rather be safe because if you don't let your piece dry all the way through, guess what happens in the kiln? You ready? Exactly. Not the kiln though, but the pieces on the inside.
2 weeks later. All right, I am super excited. Let me go and get it. It's been 2 weeks sitting there to just dry up. You gotta see it. And this is our Aphmau sculpture after 2 whole weeks of sitting on the shelf just to kind of dry up and make sure there's no moisture, because if there's moisture, it goes in the kiln. Off this goes into the kiln. Now, for obvious reasons, I'm not here to waste energy, so I did put it in at the same time as our first sculpture. But regardless, it deserves its own plea. Dear kiln gods of Evermore, please protect my piece from cracks, explosions, and fallen cherries. But also,
Don't break my stuff!
and here is our Aphmau kitty vase. It's definitely sounding like ceramic. Listen. It's sounding like glass. So that's exciting. And one of the techniques I've seen online is actually using a pencil in order to draw your design on top. And even if the pencil markings show in front of the glaze or underglaze, it's apparently going to just burn off in the kiln. So I feel like this is something I need to try because I've always seen it. Nobody talks about it, but it's assumed by me. So as you can see, I basically marked everything, the delimitations of the colors, the shape of the eyes, and all of that jazz. Now, it seems that I'm pretty lucky because I do have the exact red and I have one yellow, so we're gonna go with that. However, I think I want to get this blue a little lighter because the inside of the eyes are a darker blue and I don't have that. So I feel I might actually have to mix in some black. I don't know. We're gonna try that out. But first things first is we're going to go ahead and put the bases of the red and then the yellow, and we'll talk about the blue when we get there.
What the heck? Okay, cheap brush, I see you. Okay.
And it's unfortunate, but I looked online and I couldn't find anything that had a glittery effect. All I could find is the opalescent, so it kind of looks like this as you can see on the screen. So I'm hoping at some point, maybe someone's going to make a glaze or an underglaze that has that kind of glittery effect to it, or tinsel somehow. Now for the blue, the one that I actually have is the UG097. This is what it looks like here on the screen. So it's definitely way too dark. It's probably perfect for the eyes, but not for the right side of the face. So I'm gonna go ahead and blend that with white. Are we gonna get splotches? Is it going to be perfect? Is it going to be too dark? Is it going to be too light? I don't know, because the colors we see is not the colors we get. So it's just risky bisky here, and we're just gonna paint it on. And now we're going to go ahead and do the ears and the cherry. So that's basically the same method that I've been using this whole time. And now for the eyes, I went with the pure blue straight out of the bottle. The thing is, you see me putting it on, but once it dries, it's so close to the pale blue, I'm a little worried. Again, we don't know how everything's gonna turn out until after it goes in the kiln. And now we're going to do the red part of the eye as well as the white part of the eye. This one I use the ball tool just to get a thicker coat, so I have to put less with the brush. But now we're gonna try something different. I put the underglaze in here with this tiny little needle in order to make these star designs. Am I gonna do it right? I don't know. I've never used this before. A lot of things here I've never done. You know what? Everything I've never done before. Other than sculpting, but this is completely different. Now I don't know what the flow is going to look like, so I'm just gonna take my palette. Let's just see how fluid this is going to be, because I need a lot of control to get through here. Hello? Oh, okay. Oh. Okay. You know what? This isn't too bad. The reason it's not sticking is because the surface here is way too smooth. So we're just gonna go for it. All right, and the first star is kind of starting over here. Please, kind of like this. Peek over here, go back down, extend. So far, so good. We're gonna make our little star. Oh, that looks great. And we're just going to fill this up. Oh, that's cute. That's cute. I'm gonna let it dry before doing the other one because I don't want it to kind of like pull into it. So I'm just going to take a heat gun, or do I want to? Maybe it's gonna splash everywhere. Let's just wait a few seconds. I'm so nervous. Okay, the edges are starting to actually harden. So I'm gonna go ahead and do the little one. The issue with the little one is that it's really small. So I think what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna go through the center and make little peaks like this. There you go. It's barely touching the outside, so I think this is cute. Now we just need to make the mouth, and for that I'm taking the black underglaze and just doing the mouth. And here it is, looking absolutely bland. It's muted. The colors are cute though, and I'm really excited to see how this is going to turn out. But now we're going to have to do the same thing, which is put the clear glaze right on top for about 2 to 3 coats, and it's just starting now to look like we did absolutely nothing. Let's go ahead and put it into kiln. Dear kiln gods of Evermore, please protect my piece from cracks, explosions, sticky adhesions, but also
Just give me some color!
and ta-da! Oh my goodness, it is absolutely adorable. I can't believe I made my first ever vase. I know this is not the right way to make vases, but you know what? It is my way, and it's my first ever vase. The colors are absolutely adorable. A little bit more muted on the sculpture itself, but you gotta listen. Ceramic. And here they are side by side on my desk. You can definitely see that one of the things I wished worked well was the yellow in the star. I probably should have put more coats because I thought the coat that I had put earlier was going to be enough and thick enough to go through, but it's just not showing, and I'm really disappointed in that. The other thing I noticed in this piece is that there is a really tiny crack on the eye. I'm not sure if that's because of the paintwork that I did or if it's showed up after the baking. Regardless, I'm actually really happy with my first ever pieces. I did not expect things to not explode in the kiln, but they didn't, and I'm happy about that. So let me know which one of these two is your favorite in the comments. I have to say I like both for different reasons, but Gherkin definitely has more of my heart. Let me know what you think, and of course if you have advice, let me know in the comments. But first... And here's another character that I'm testing things on since I wanted to do something different on it. Well, look at her. She looks absolutely adorable. I love the little details of the flowers and the dots. And you can see here that we do get little magma effects on my character, and it is absolutely phenomenal. I could do some really cool effects and maybe some different dragons and scales and things like that. If you want to watch more crafty videos, make sure you check up here. If you want to catch something different like mystery boxes and unboxings, make sure you check down here. Until then, I will see you greens in the next video.